Hello, everyone. Hello, dear audience. I want to greet you from here. Today, I want to talk about why China and why negotiation. So, I will talk mainly about Latin America and China. They need negotiations. That's what I want to say. I'm Professor Xiaoshu Zhu. By the way, my name is Xiaoshu, and Zhu is my family name, not Zhu, not not the Brazilian way of pronunciation. Okay, the Chinese director of Business Confucius Institute, FAAPI. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, in China, we have a saying called 名正言顺, meaning whatever you do, you need a justified reason. Okay, in this case, why am I here to talk about this topic with you? Who am I? Why do we need to talk about negotiation? And how can we become better negotiators? Okay, now let me give you the official self-introduction. I got my bachelor's degree in English at Shanghai International Studies University, China. And I got my master's degree at Dalian University of Foreign Languages, China. I got my PhD degree at the University of Bonn, Germany, and my postdoc at Beijing Foreign Studies University, China. As you can see, all my studies concerned with this wonderful word, foreign or international, right? Okay. I'm a professor of intercultural communication at the University of International Business and Economics, China. By the way, it's in Beijing. And I'm now the Chinese director of Confucius Institute in Brazil. But previously, I was also holding the same position in Mexico. Next, please. I was a Fulbright visiting scholar in New York, USA. And I'm the associate director of the International Business Negotiation Association of China. I'm an experienced trainer of intercultural business communication. I have rich experience in teaching and research. I'm the author of 2 monographs, full textbooks, and various research papers. Why am I here? To share with you my rich cross-cultural experience and my expertise regarding negotiation. What are you going to learn in this lecture? You are going to have a basic understanding of business negotiation. Business is not necessarily for the purpose of money making. Rather, it is our professional activity of daily communication. That's what I mean by business here. To get to know China better, or to get to know China if you don't know about China very much. Its history, its geography, characteristics of Chinese communication. By this, I mean how Chinese people communicate. Some business etiquettes, and to have a panoramic picture of negotiation. Related skills, tactics, what is important in negotiations, etc. So now let me come to my first subtopic, Latin America and China. Okay, brief history of China's relations with Latin America and Caribbean countries. Ever since People's Republic of China was founded in 1949, China began to establish diplomatic relations with countries in this region starting from the 1960s. And the following videos, for example, will give you a better idea on why China and LSC need each other. Okay, by the way, you can watch the videos at home to save time here. Okay, next please.
The videos will be in the comments below our screen, okay? Our subscriber can see the videos later.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, this is one source or another source I took that talks about China and the Latin American and the Caribbean countries. China is now the region's second largest trading partner, with bilateral trade maintaining rapid growth for 7 consecutive years. Meanwhile, China's circle of friends in Latin America and Caribbean countries is expanding. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the first free trade agreement signed between China and LAC countries. In the past 20 years, the progress made in free trade agreements between the two sides has expanded the scope, enhanced the quality, and increased the efficiency of China's network of high-standard free trade areas. Since 2005, China has successively signed and brought into force 5 free trade agreements in LAC with Chile, Peru, Costa Rica, Ecuador, and Nicaragua. Among these, the free trade agreements with Ecuador and Nicaragua were concluded during the 14th five-year plan period. That is 2021 to 2025. By the way, I want to add something. China is used to having 5-year plans, one after another. You can see now it's already the 14th. So if you don't know anything about it, you can check later to understand better what it is a 5-year plan for China. Okay, with this slide, you can see the sources there, though the words are a little bit small, but you can see the sources of this slide. You can see that bilateral trade volume is always on the increase between the two sides. That's why we need to cooperate better. That's why we need to negotiate better. Why China and why negotiation? Our hot point, I mean. To satisfy mutual needs, that's the first thing. And then to promote mutual understanding. Cooperation stands for a bright future. In order to cooperate, Latin America and China need to negotiate with each other. To know yourself and to know your partner, or to know your counterpart in negotiations, so that you can negotiate better. That's why you need to understand who you negotiate with, how to develop your strategies, how to plan your tactics, and how to strengthen your negotiation skills. First of all, you need to understand China a little bit more. Now let's come to the next subtopic, brief introduction of China. Okay, part 1, brief geography. Okay, this is the map of China. It is in Chinese, but one thing I want to point out here is that in the right corner, you can see there a smaller map, right? This is the complete picture or the complete map of China. If you see a map of China without the 9 little lines, that will be an incomplete map of China. Okay, the shape of China on the map is like a cock, but without the legs, the cock is not complete. So the one thing I want to draw your attention to is that the complete map of China should have the part with the 9 little lines. Okay, next please. So this is the English version of the map. As you can see, this is not a complete map of China. This is wrong in a sense, okay? So next time when you see a map of China, you should understand that what is a complete picture and what is not. So China is not a flat land, as you can see. It's a topography. We call it 3 steps. So the eastern part of China is generally under 500 meters or under above sea level. And the middle part of China, including a little bit of the western part, it's between 1,000 and 2,000 meters. But the highest part is the Tibetan area, with 4,000 meters above sea level. You see? So that's our map. In terms of humanistic geography, China has 56 ethnic groups, with Han being the largest. Distribution of some larger minorities in China will be given in the next slides. Some minorities have their own festivals and dressing habits, which are decided by traditional and climate factors. Some minorities even have their own language systems. This may be something new for you. So not everyone in China speaks Mandarin, okay? So some minorities have their own languages, including writing systems. Okay, next please. So this is the ethno-linguistic group map of China. As you can see, the legends are under, so you can have a better idea. So the source is there is the Wikipedia. So next, please. So if you want to know the population of China, you can then click on this link, and you will have a better idea. Okay, this is the main data of the 7th National Population Census. Our brief history, as you can see, China or Chinese history is divided into dynasties, period whereby the country is ruled by one royal family. It started as early as 1766 before Christ. And then the last dynasty is the Qing dynasty. It ended in 1911. So for the little details, I won't read it out, and you can see for yourselves. Okay, next please. Okay, now the next subtopic. If you go to China and do business with Chinese. I think we omitted something. Can we go back one more? Yeah, okay, you see this? Okay. Right after this is the next one is this is number 18, now is number 19. Okay, so when you add it, please cut this part, okay? So after the Qing dynasty, we began to have Republic of China. Now China, its official name is People's Republic of China. It was founded on October the 1st, 1949. A new era in history. Okay, so if you want to know what happened in China from 1911 to 1949, you can watch this video. Okay, next please.
Just remember to our subscribers, all the videos that Sophie has mentioned will be in our description. The link for the video will be in our description of this video below the screen.
Okay, wonderful. So now the topic is on how to do business with the Chinese. The first thing I want to talk about is the characteristics of Chinese people's communication. For example, the first thing I want to say is we are under the heavy influence of Confucianism. So we call it a Confucian culture. There are at least 5 things that you should definitely keep in mind if you want to do business with the Chinese. The first thing is a face. Okay, and the second thing is a 关系 or relationship. And the third is harmony, how to keep harmony. And the next one is a hierarchy. And the last but not least is 人情, reciprocity. You can find numerous videos on these topics. That's why I didn't put on my screen or my PPT any. So you can look for yourselves if you are interested in these topics. But these are all important. These are of the same importance. If you want to go to China, you'd better understand these subtopics, okay? These 5. Another thing is characteristics of communication. Regarding characteristics of communication, I do want to point out one thing, that is paralinguistic features mean a lot. Tones may convey negative messages in Chinese, but it may not be equally true in English. Okay, if someone says okay or okay, okay, these 3 okays mean different things. The first okay is quite okay. The second is a reluctant okay. And the third is not quite an okay, you see? So the tones in Chinese, or when even Chinese people speaking English or other foreign languages, they tend to carry this characteristic or this feature over. So it's good for you to know. Also, facial expressions may convey different meanings in Chinese versus in English. So if someone is giggling while saying something, he or she may not be so serious. Or sometimes it can be on the contrary. What he or she says may not be true, you see? Okay, next please.
The next.
Yeah, next slide please. Okay, for this slide, I said Chinese philosophy in doing business. I often get this question: why does China want to initiate their Belt and Road or other initiatives for the world? We say we have a philosophy that is 穷则独善其身，达则兼善天下, meaning be good on your own when you are poor and share with others when you are rich. Though we are not completely rich at this moment, we still want to share with the world what we have. That's our philosophy. Okay, the following videos will help you understand better the Chinese philosophy concerning business. So these videos are here. You can watch for yourselves.
So remember, to our subscribers, the video will be in the description of our video.
Okay, if you want to do business in China, it's good to understand some business etiquettes. For example, introduction and self-introduction in negotiation settings, and also in other business occasions where you get to know someone, okay? I'll talk about the rules first. The first rule is rank and status, from high to low. And the second is age, from old to young. And the next rule is if you want to shake hands, oh, by the way, we don't hug very much, yeah? So we usually shake hands. If you want to shake hands, you should show your firmness of handshake, not touch the other hand and let it go as if you were electrified, okay? And handshakes versus a rank and position. This is a little bit complicated. If you have a high rank, usually you are the one who reach out your hand first. And then the one who has a lower rank will shake your hands. If you are a lady and you want to shake hands with a gentleman, usually you reach out first. Something like this. There are also videos on this topic, and you can watch if you want to do business in China. The next thing is small talk usually follows. By small talk, I mean something not so serious. For example, oh, how was your flight from Brazil to China? Did you have a good flight? And did you have a long layover time? Something like this, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is handing over name cards. We have a standard way of doing it. First of all, when I hand over name cards to others, or people generally do it this way. We hand out name cards with both hands, okay, with both hands, and also with this direction. That is, I hand over my name card to you in your direction so that you can read the words on the name cards, not in my own direction, okay? This is the first thing. The second is local language or English facing up. Okay, if my name card has an English version and a Chinese version, maybe when I hand to you, I will think maybe you don't read Chinese. So when I hand it to you, I usually hand it in a way so that the English side is facing up, okay? When you receive a name card, you usually study this name card a little bit. By study, I mean you read the name card a little bit. You say, oh, director so-and-so, or manager so-and-so. And you call this person by the rank or position. You say, oh, manager, blah, blah, or commander so-and-so. This is the way you address the other person. Nowadays, since everyone in China uses WeChat, we can also ask to add to the business card, digital business card by WeChat. Okay, if you don't have WeChat, it will be a problem if you do business in China. You'd better download WeChat on your phone so that you can contact everyone easily. Okay, that's all for this slide. Next, please. So when you are at a dinner with someone, you usually use the table arrangement on the right, a round table. Okay, usually with the most important person sitting in the room. If there is a window in this room, the most important person usually sits with his back against the window. And if you are the host, you usually sit at the opposite end of the most important guest. And usually your seat is near the door so that you can go out and in easily. If you go to a negotiation situation, you can see the picture on the left. In this picture, there is a chair at the far end of the table. But in negotiation situations, we don't need that chair near the window, and we usually need only chairs on both sides of this desk. The seat arrangement is that the most important person sits in the middle, followed by one on this side and one on that side. That is the most important person is arranged next to is arranged in the middle with his or her subordinates sitting next to this VIP, one on each side. Okay, next please. Business etiquette, table manners in China. In China, there are a lot of people who drink tea. So when you serve tea, the cup is not very big. If you finish it, you finish drinking, someone will come along and pour more tea into your cup. Usually, you instead of saying 谢谢 or thank you or whatever your language is to mean thank you, we can click the two fingers, the index finger and the middle finger together on the table or on the desk to mean thank you. Okay, as the picture shows, that's a thank you. And serving beverages. If you cannot drink alcoholic drinks, you can point out directly to the host or hostess of the dinner, and then you point out you cannot drink alcoholic drinks. Otherwise, they will ask you what kind of drinks you would like. Serving courses of dishes is not like here that you serve starters and the main course and then dessert. We don't serve courses like that. We serve sort of everything together. We do carry the cold dishes first to the table, and then the hot dishes, and then the cereal food like rice or cakes or whatever. But our courses of serving is different from the traditional practice here in Brazil or in any other foreign Western country. It's better for you to know. When you use chopsticks, it's not right to stand your chopsticks inside the rice, as it is shown in the picture on the left, where I said no. It's okay to put it horizontally on your bowl, as it is shown on the right. Or sometimes in restaurants, they have a little bit of stand. Or let me show you. Actually, I have it here. I don't know whether you can see. It's in the form of a little fish. It's for you to put the chopsticks. Okay, this way. So this is a little fish form. So yeah, you can see for yourself. Okay, next please. And that's all for table manners. Okay, now forms of address. If you address someone, it's the right thing to do to address him by the rank or position. For example, director so-and-so, manager so-and-so. If he or she doesn't have a position or rank, you can address this person by his or her profession, like a professor so-and-so, engineer so-and-so. For some small kids, they address the people because of their seniority. They address him or her as uncle or aunt. In this case, you must understand that it has nothing to do with kinship, or they are not relatives. It's just that this kid is showing his or her respect for the person who is older. The practice of taking a Western given name. Okay, as you can see, our names are typically difficult for foreign people, for our foreign friends to pronounce. That's why the practice of taking a Western given name is very, very common. For example, in the case of myself, I have taken the Western name of Sophie, and you can all call me Sophie. It's easier. It's a lot easier than Xiaoshu, huh? Okay, that's about forms of address. Next, please. Chinese culture conditioned behaviors. We Chinese people are typically very modest. So if someone says, "Oh, your English is good," I would understate it a little bit. I will say, that's my profession. I'm a professor of English. I won't say, "Oh, I have studied English for this or that many years." I think my English is quite okay. I don't say it this way. That's the Chinese modesty. Also, another characteristic is indirectness. Sometimes we are indirect. We would express our suggestions or our advice indirectly. For example, I know you caught a cold and you're sort of having a fever. So I say, why don't you put on more clothes? Or why don't you take so-and-so medicine? Okay, This has nothing to do with that we want to interfere into your personal affairs, or we want to give you forced or imposed suggestions. No, we are just showing concern for you. We are being indirect, and we want the best for you. Okay. Chinese concept of face. Face is an image. Okay, face is very complicated. It needs a lecture for itself. So as I said, if you are interested in it, you can watch some videos on face. I'm sure you can find plenty of them. Okay, Chinese virtues like thrift, respect for seniority, etc. These virtues are always important, and you should understand. About a way of giving advice, I have just said it, so we can go on.
The next.
Next, please. Okay, nonverbal behaviors. First of all, I want to say something about gestures. You know, at the bottom end of this slide, I have shown two pictures of coming here. So the one on the left is our way of signifying coming here. So we do it this way with the hand curving upward and with the four fingers moving. Not like the Western way of coming here with only one finger and with the palm facing up. By the way, the second way of coming here is a little bit or somewhat implied in the Chinese context, because sometimes this gesture can be used by a man to mean something, not so good to a woman. You understand what I mean, right? So don't use the come here on the right in the slide. Use the one on the left. Okay, that's coming here. A handshake. We do a lot of handshake. As I said, a firm handshake is important. You shake the hand once or twice before you let the other hand go. We don't hug that much unless you are really good friends and the Chinese person is very familiar with the Western culture of hugging. Don't hug. That's my suggestion. Standing distance. Usually between business partners of different genders, the safe standing distance is about a meter between you. Okay, but of the same gender, you can stand a little bit closer with each other. But the different gender, for the different gender, is a safe distance to stand a meter apart. Okay, walking sequence. When we enter a room, usually the most important person goes first, followed by others in terms of their importance. The second important person, the third important person, etc. Okay. When you talk with someone, in our culture, it's polite to look at someone in the eye, but do not stare. If you fix your eyes on them, it will be too frightening. Okay. We say look at someone in the eye, but not staring. Okay, next please. Next is the Chinese concept of time. In cities, especially big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, etc., where economy is highly developed, generally people adhere to M time. If you are not clear about M time and P time, you can see the little corner. I have some introduction there. Yeah. That is, people stick to their time schedules strictly. For example, if you want to do business in China, if you want to negotiate with someone, you have fixed, you have appointed for 10 o'clock. You'd better get there at least 10 minutes, if not 15, if you cannot make 15 minutes. At least 10 minutes beforehand, so that you can sit there in peace, you can breathe, you can go to the bathroom or whatever, to make sure that you can start at 10 sharply, okay? In rural areas, however, if you go to extremely rural areas, people will make this kind of appointment. Let's go to the market, the street market, something like a feira here, huh? They'll say tomorrow morning, but this tomorrow morning can be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock. That's in extremely rural areas. But in our daily working context, it is strictly in the sense of 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Sharp. Okay, next please. If you do business in China, you will typically go to Chinese dinners at the invitation of someone. Okay, I have taken this to give you an example. This is the dialogue between two people. Oh, Commander, could you read? I read A and you read B. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, I read A. What about coming to dinner with me tomorrow? I want to thank you for your help with my project.
Don't bother. I know you are busy by yourself.
I am busy, but I have to find time to feed myself. Is that right? You are just keeping me company. It's all about finding time to talk.
If you put it that way, I guess I should accept your invitation.
Wonderful. In that case, I will meet you downstairs at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow after work. All right?
All right, but promise me that you won't to spend too much on the dinner tomorrow.
Okay, see you then. You see? Thank you, Commander. And you see, this is the typical pattern of invitation. The inviter issues the invitation, and then the invitee rejects at first, and then the inviter insists, and then the invitee accepts conditionally. Finally, they make an appointment about time and place where they are going to meet for dinner. You see, typically it's this way. For you, it may seem a little bit implied, but that's the typical way of invitation between colleagues, at least. Oh, another thing I want to remind you is that in China, it's very rare for people to go Dutch or to be on an AA basis. That is, each pays for his own. Typically, this time I pay and next time you will pay. You see? Okay, that's the thing about paying. Who initiates the dinner invitation? Usually, this is the person that should pay. To combine this remark with a table arrangement, which we had seen earlier. Usually the person who is going to pay sits near the door. Okay, so that's the seat arrangement. Some more details. Okay, next one, please. To sum up this part, I want to say that both history and the present demand that China and the LAC maintain a good relationship. Mutual economic dependence fosters the relationship. To understand China better will enable you to negotiate better with people from the Chinese culture. Okay, that's all for this part. And now let's go on. Next, please. Okay, about negotiations itself. Now comes the real part. Yeah. Okay, about negotiation itself. Okay, the first one, please. Let's begin with this book. Oh, this is actually a book by myself and my co-author. This was published in December 2022. It's quite new, yeah? And it's quite recent. It is called International Business Negotiations, From Theory to Practice. It's published by Shanghai Foreign Language Education Press. This book will be available very soon in Portuguese. It will be published in Portuguese in Brazil, by the way. For negotiation, I want to say that all of us are engaged in negotiations daily, almost at a subconscious level. But many have not fully realized the importance of being a better negotiator. Our objective is to reach 4 groups of readers, each of which have similar but distinct reasons to improve their negotiating skills. No matter who you are, no matter you are already a good negotiator, or you know a little bit, or you know little about negotiation, it's important for you to learn some negotiation skills. Okay, next please. As I said, we want to reach 4 groups of readers. The first group is comprised of students, typically business majors who take negotiation classes. They will benefit from the insights and examples we provide in this book regarding the practical application of negotiation theories to actual or real-life scenarios. These insights will provide baseline principles for them to use in solving negotiation problems. If you are a student, you can use this book. Okay, next please. The second group is academics who teach negotiation courses. Most academics seek to supplement their course materials with real-life examples of practical applications of negotiation theories to actual cases. These cases analyzed in this book are necessary adaptations of real-life cases that will provide academics authentic insights and examples to enhance their courses. Because we have cases in this book, so if you are a professor of negotiation, you can also use this book. Next, please. The third group is negotiation trainers. There is an increasing realization by many business people of the critical importance of successful negotiation in the workplace, whether internally or externally. This realization is driving a need to reach out to trainers to increase their negotiating proficiency. Similar to the academics above, the cases analyzed in this book are real-life cases that will provide trainers authentic insights and examples to leverage and to enhance their courses. To give you an example, I am a negotiation trainer myself. Before I came to Brazil, I used to train business officials from developing countries when I was in China. I would use some of the cases I mentioned in this book. Okay, if you are a negotiation trainer, you can also use this book. Next, please. The fourth group is the general public, who are increasingly realizing that they engage in negotiations in many aspects of their everyday lives. People clearly understand that developing the negotiation strategies, tactics, skills, etc., that are taught in this book can meaningfully improve their lives. I have a friend who read this book. You know what she said afterwards? She said, I didn't realize that negotiation needs training. I thought I just negotiate with someone, I just do it intuitively. I said, that's not good enough. If you learn it deliberately, you will be a better negotiator. That's the thing I want to say. Next, please. Sections of this book. This book is broken into 2 broad sections. The first part is negotiation theories, which will enable readers to develop an overall understanding of fundamental negotiation strategies, tactics, and skills. The second is negotiation cases, a presentation of selected real-life cases followed by detailed analysis and application of fundamental negotiation principles. We believe our approach to this book will allow the 4 targeted reader groups to successfully understand and apply fundamental negotiating principles while also providing them lasting guidelines for being better negotiators. This book is written completely in English. I hope I can bring some copies next time when I go back to China. But if I can't give you one personally, at least you will have this Portuguese version very soon in Brazil. Next, please. You will become a better negotiator after learning this book. There are those lucky few that are considered born negotiators, having an innate mastery of negotiating that sets them apart from the rest. Sometimes it's very unfortunate that we are not in this group of people, yeah? While this may be true, we believe everyone can become an excellent negotiator, whether in business or in everyday life. By learning fundamental negotiation principles, including seeing them applied in real-life cases in this book, readers will be positioned to negotiate more efficiently and more effectively. It will be surprising how much better a negotiator readers will become after learning this book. Okay, so that's all about who can read this book. So now let's go up. Next slide, please. The metaphor of negotiation. I want to cite scholar's words, Weiss, in 2020. He said, "Learning to be an effective negotiator is a journey, not a destination." In other words, if one is learning negotiation, he's always on the way instead of arriving at a destination. Though I have studied and practiced negotiation, and also I've been a negotiation trainer for many, many years, I still feel that I have a lot to learn about negotiation. Okay, next please. Okay, contents of this book. I will go very quick here, yeah? So the first one you can understand is a general introduction, and the second chapter is negotiation strategies. And the third is skills in practical negotiations, questioning and listening. Okay, as you can see, negotiation not only requires eloquence. Sometimes you think, if I'm eloquent, I'll be a better negotiator. No, that's not true. You have to have negotiation strategies. We'll talk about strategies. And then you have to have core skills in practical negotiations. Okay, you should practice how to question and how to listen, how to express your own ideas. Or sometimes you need to persuade others. How can you persuade them better than you are doing at the present? All this needs a practice, yeah? So that's what I talked about in the sections of theory, and for the sections of cases, you can read for yourselves. Starting from chapter 2, we have a case for each chapter. So to save time, I won't read the names of the cases. You can read for yourself. Next, please. Chapter 4 is negotiation versus cross-cultural communication. Why do we want to say that negotiation is also cross-cultural communication? You can understand very easily, yeah? And then chapter 5 is negotiation tactics. Win-win tactics and adversarial tactics. You will understand what are win-win and what are adversarial tactics. Chapter 6 is the interest and the medium issues in business negotiations. By interest, I mean you only want to establish a good relationship. You want to establish trust between the negotiation partners, or in addition to the material interests, or you just want the material interests. You want to ignore the relation part. That's the interest issue. Medium issue. By this, I mean that you want to do the negotiation online or face-to-face, on the phone, or in emails, etc. This kind of thing. Yeah. So I won't read the cases. You can read for yourself. Okay, next, please. In chapter 7, We talked about common business negotiation resolution processes and related documentation. For example, if I ask you, do you know the difference between an agreement and a contract? Can you tell me the difference? I'm sure the majority of you cannot. Okay. So when something goes wrong, when one party of the contract or of the agreement cannot carry out this agreement or contract, you need to resort to legal processes. Do you want to go to court or do you want to go to arbitration? When and when not to? Why and why not? Okay. So in chapter 7, we'll talk about these issues. And chapter 8 is negotiation in work situations. For example, how you negotiate with your boss, with your subordinates, and with your peers. What are the points for attention? So these are very practical. And if you want to read this book, you'll have a solution for each situation. And chapter 9 is putting everything together: tactics, preparation, execution, and follow-up. Okay, if you want to be a good negotiator, instead of or in addition to strategies, tactics, and skills you already learned from this book, what else do you need to do? For example, how do you prepare? What is a good preparation? To what extent it can be described as a good preparation? How about the execution afterwards? And how to follow up? All this will be talked about in chapter 9. Okay, next please. Now let me give you the example of chapter 1. Oh, by the way, this is very quick, so don't worry, yeah? And okay. In chapter 1, Introduction to Negotiations, we say, first of all, we list our learning objectives. This is in English, and in the Portuguese version, it is the same. So I want to tell you the arrangement of each chapter. After learning this chapter, students should be able to have a basic understanding of what negotiation is, know the common types of negotiations, understand the influence factors of negotiation. Okay, next please. Okay, the stereotyped image of negotiation. The word negotiation often triggers a mental picture of two teams of negotiators seated on the opposite sides of the table, presenting their case, debating the finer points of two different views on the same issue. For many, this is the stereotyped image of negotiation. However, in real life, negotiations are much more pervasive and involve a broad swath of issues, including prices, deadlines, contract terms, and even what to have for dinner. For example, when you negotiate with your husband or wife or with the other family members, what to eat for dinner, you need negotiation. In other words, negotiation is everywhere, is in every minute, or if not every minute, every hour of your daily life. Yeah? Okay, next please. What is negotiation then? Fundamentally, negotiation is about human communication. In reality, we all negotiate more frequently than we realize, and actually we do it on a subconscious level. The pervasiveness of negotiating in all aspects of our lives puts a premium on being a great negotiator, not only in our professional lives, but also our personal lives. Okay, typically, if you are a parent, you need to negotiate with your kids, yeah? So this is also tough sometimes. So after learning this book, you will become a better negotiator. Next, please. In our book, we stress that negotiations extend far beyond the common view described above. We believe that leveraging the key tenets of strong negotiation skills and will enable you to build strong working relationships and alliances. and as a result, be more successful in all aspects of your life. Next. Okay. Starting from this one, it looks more academic, yeah? I call it a 1.1, definition of negotiation. Negotiations have been studied as a phenomenon of complex nature, as it is pointed out by Chaudhary. Negotiation is a process, not a single skill. A range of skills are involved in handling this process effectively. But we identify the skills which are relevant to any particular negotiating episode. It is important to recognize which elements or principles of negotiation are involved. Roland, another scholar, stated that negotiation is a process by which we obtain something from somebody who wants something from us. Okay, this is important. If you want to get something from others, and you should be prepared to offer something yourself. That's a basic idea in negotiation. Yeah. Roland also believes that at its most basic level, negotiation is the process of an exchange. I have already explained this sentence. Okay. Next, please. Our summary of negotiation. We say our definition of negotiation is any discussion for any purpose which resolves an issue acceptably to both parties. Inherent in this definition is the acknowledgement that a negotiation involves at least two parties, and they have a mutual need to resolve a common issue. A logical conclusion one may reach regarding a negotiation is that it is inevitable that one party wins and the other party loses. Whilst this may result, it is not always the case. Okay, one of the misunderstandings is that in negotiations, always one party wins and the other party loses. This will not be the case. Always, okay? That's why you need to learn negotiation, how to turn the negotiation situations into a win-win situation. Okay, next, please. Another important point inherent in our definition is that the requirement that both parties are negotiating in good faith to resolve the issue at hand. If one party does not have clear intent to negotiate, no amount of negotiation by the other party will achieve a negotiated resolution. That is not to say that the willing party cannot persuade the unwilling party to negotiate, but rather, without the honest intent to negotiate by both parties, negotiation will not work out. So for this slide, the key words are in good faith. You must negotiate in good faith. Okay, next, please. Two common types of negotiations. There are many types of negotiations, including specific types of negotiations inside organizations or institutions, or they can be rational discussions for decision-making purposes, leveraging strong communication skills. Two of the more common types of negotiation are distributive and integrative negotiations, described below. Distributive negotiations typically associated with a single issue, and the total benefit of a negotiation is a fixed pie to be shared by the parties. In this case, if one party receives more, the other party will resultantly receive less. This type of negotiation is also referred to as a zero-sum type of negotiation or bargaining. Integrative negotiations typically involves multi-issue treating, is more practical, and regards negotiation as joint problem solving. Okay, in our work situations, typically the negotiations tend to be integrative negotiations. Next, please. characteristics of negotiations. The characteristics of negotiation are usually present in the vast majority of human interactions, ranging from daily routines to international business deals. According to Rowland, negotiations are typically influenced by three intangible things: beliefs, which are conditioned by each individual's culture; attitudes, which are changed by events; behavior, which can be changed by training and experience. That's why we need to learn negotiation. Yeah, we want to change your attitudes and your beliefs about negotiation. Next, please. Kinds of interests in negotiation. Negotiators typically have two kinds of interests in the negotiation. The primary interest is the substance being negotiated. Each wants to reach a fair agreement that satisfies their substantive interest. The second interest is their relationship with their counterpart negotiator. Oftentimes, the ongoing relationship can be more important than reaching a solution to the substance of the problem. Frequently, this occurs when negotiators are connected in some way. For example, they are friends, boss, or an employee, business colleagues, or partners. Okay? So there are different kinds of interests you should understand. Ideally, if you can keep both kinds, primary interest and secondary interest, you will be a great negotiator, or you are a great negotiator already. Next, please. So, psychological factors affecting parties to a negotiation. So, Wertheim 2020 states that psychological factors can meaningfully affect parties to a negotiation, citing things like how comfortable each feels about conflict, how each perceives or misperceives the other, the assumptions each makes about the other and the problem, the attitudes and expectations about the other, the decisions each makes about trust, how important winning is, how important it is to avoid conflict, how much one likes or dislikes the other, how important it is to not to look foolish. You know, these things may seem small and you tend to ignore, but these factors do play a very important role when you go to a negotiation. Next, please. Just a few more, don't worry, yeah? Okay, negotiation in essence, we say it is worth noting that all negotiations are interactions between human beings. People often have different emotions, values, cultural norms, frames of references, life experiences, backgrounds, and viewpoints. That's unavoidable, yeah? These factors, as opposed to the rational, substantive issues being negotiated, conspire to make negotiating the unique art that it is. We often do not know the people we are negotiating with, so we may not definitely know how they will behave in negotiation situations. Therefore, understanding that these differences likely to exist, interpreting their impacts on the individual being negotiated with, and calibrating your negotiation strategy to that person are critical success factors. Okay, so this slide mainly says that a negotiation is very complicated, so you should train yourselves wherever you can. Okay, next, please.
Just minutes.
Okay, our recommendations for learning negotiation. Oh, don't worry, we are almost near the end, yeah? Okay, Like it or not, we are involved in negotiations more frequently than we realize. Therefore, it is vital for us to develop the negotiation mindset and supporting skills. We believe that the best way to learn negotiation is to learn negotiation strategies, tactics, and skills, and integrate and sharpen them through purposeful practice. That's clear enough. It doesn't require further explanation. Next, please. Okay, to go on with the recommendations. We analogize that learning negotiation is like the fable story of the blind man and the elephant. In the story, the 6 blind men each said that the elephant was like something that they felt, namely like a wall, like a rope, like a fan, etc. Because they all happened to place their hands on the elephant, on the different body parts of this elephant. In total, their points of reference would define an elephant. In other words, when we learn negotiation, it's like the blind man feeding the elephant. Each feels a little part of the elephant, but if you put all the little parts together, it will become the whole picture of the elephant. You will understand the negotiation as a whole. Similar to negotiation, we should strive to see all the angles of the matter and our counterpart negotiator. Then we'll be positioned to realize all of the rational and personal nuances of the negotiation, and thus calibrate our negotiation strategy accordingly. Next, please. Okay, we are almost at the end, yeah? Key takeaways of this chapter. We say negotiation is a process, not a single skill. A range of skills are involved in handling this process effectively. But to identify the skills which are relevant to any particular negotiating episode, it is important to recognize which elements or principles of negotiation are involved. 2 more common types of negotiation are distributive and integrative negotiations. Next. A negotiation is a process. Commander, the previous one, please. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Negotiation is a process, not a single skill. A range of skills are involved in handling this process effectively. But to identify the skills which are relevant to any particular negotiating episode, it is important to recognize which elements or principles of negotiation are involved. 2 more common types of negotiation are distributive and integrative negotiations. Okay, now the next one, second one, please. Okay, as Roland put it, negotiations are typically influenced by 3 tangible things: beliefs, attitudes, and behavior. Okay, and then beliefs, which are conditioned by each individual's culture. Attitudes, which are changed by events. Behavior, which can be changed by training and experience. The authors, that is my co-author and I, we believe that the best way to learn negotiation is to learn negotiation strategies, tactics, and skills, and to integrate all of them and sharpen your negotiation skills through purposeful practice. Okay. A few more slides about the negotiation itself, about other topics in negotiation. Next, please. Some other issues I also want you to learn about negotiation is differentiating wants and needs. If you go to any negotiation, if you have this in mind, you can do a better job. Wants correspond to the positions both sides take in the conflict. and needs correspond to their respective underlying interests. There is a direct relationship between issues, wants, and needs in negotiation. Negotiators express different wants depending on their perspectives on the issue. Differentiating what your negotiation partner really wants and needs. Okay, this may sound abstract, but let me give you an example. This is an important example if you are a parent. Yeah, a friend of mine, his son has graduated with a master's degree from a very prestigious university, and now he has found a job. One day, this young man went home and said to her mom, "Mom, I want to buy a car." And the mom, who is a friend of mine, answered, "Why? Our house is not far from your company. Why do you need a car?" The young man said, all my friends have bought a new car. You see, in this case, what the young man really needs is a reliable means of going to work. For example, he can use the old car their family already has, only by fixing a little bit, changing the tire or something, and then it will be usable again. Or he can go to work by bicycle, which is good and friendly to the environment. Why does he say that he wants a car? Because his friends have bought new cars. He wants a new car just for the face, yeah, to keep his image before his friends. So that's what he wants. But what he really needs is a means of transportation to go to work with. So if you can differentiate between wants and needs, you can do a better job, no matter who you negotiate with. Understand? Okay, next one. Other key issues in negotiation, understanding currencies. Currencies, okay. Negotiation is a process of exchange, and the give and take of currencies is essential to negotiating. Currencies here does not mean money, USD or Brazilian reais or whatever. Currencies can be tangible or intangible resources that are perceived to have value by the receiving party. After the underlying needs of both parties have been identified, the next step is to search for and exchange currencies that will satisfy these needs. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, for example, the examples of currencies of exchange, that is resources. They can be tangible or intangible. For example, financial, people, facilities, equipment, priorities, information, recognition, and rewards, proprietary agreement, mitigation of risks. These can all be currencies. If you can use them properly, you will gain benefits for yourself. I know we don't have much time, but I still want to give you an example. Okay, for young people who have just started working as professionals, when they hunt for jobs, they tend to focus only on tangible currencies like financial. They care how much salary they have, bonus, etc. But they tend to ignore the possibility of being promoted and being recognized by peers and professionals of the same, by experienced professionals, etc. Okay, so this is the thing I want to mention about currencies. For the others, the types you can study for yourselves. Next, please. Other key issues in negotiation, understanding negotiation power. Negotiation power has to do with whether it is the buyer's or the seller's market, that's for sure. However, it also depends on how well prepared in the sense of how well you can satisfy your partner's needs you are for a certain negotiation. If you can satisfy your negotiation partner's needs better, you will be a better negotiator. Okay, you can do better. You can gain more interest for yourselves. Preparation improves your confidence level and your perception of power. This is an important point to keep in mind. Next, please. Other key issues in negotiation for a win-win outcome. Okay, in a true win-win, both parties meet their underlying needs and the relationship is sustained or improved in the process. Thus, how you negotiate as well as what you negotiate affects the outcome, whether it's a win-win, win-lose, or lose-lose. If you have cultivated a good relationship with your Chinese negotiation partner, it means more business for you, especially in China. That's all I want to say for today's session. And I want to thank you very much. If you have questions, you can reach the commander and I can answer you through other means. Okay. The last slide is thank you. Okay, I want to say thank you very much for listening, and questions and comments are welcome. Thank you also, Commander.
Thank you, Sophie. I want to talk to our subscribers that all the reference you put in your presentation will be in the description of our video. Sophie, I hope you will be with us in other occasions. We want to know more about China. It's a brilliant lecture about this wonderful country. And I hope that their relationship between China and Brazil will be as good as possible in the next years.
Okay, I hope so too. And with this, it's only a start. I hope to have further opportunities to cooperate with you, and then let's see what we can do in the future. Okay?
For sure. And you will see the comments when we launch the video. You see the comments, and
you send me the link, and I will see the comments myself, and also the questions.
Sophie, thank you for your presentation, and I want to see you in other occasions in our channel.
Okay. Thank you very much, Commander, and let's talk later. Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.